You say something. The room goes quiet for half a second too long. And then it happens. Heat creeps up your neck. Your cheeks go red. Everyone can see it. You can't stop it, you can't hide it, and you'd give almost anything to make it stop. But here's the strange part. Your body did that on purpose. Blushing seems like the worst possible design flaw. A visible, involuntary, impossible to fake broadcast that says, "I just messed up." No other system in your body works quite like it. You can hold your breath. You can tense your muscles. You can fake a smile. But you cannot choose to blush, and you cannot choose not to. So why would evolution build something so embarrassing, so literally, into your face? Think about how unfair that feels in the moment. You already know you made a mistake. You're already replaying it. The last thing you need is your own circulatory system joining in, lighting up your face for everyone to see, making sure the entire room knows exactly how you feel about what just happened. If you could design the human body from scratch, this is probably the first feature you'd cut. Charles Darwin spent years trying to answer that exact question. In his 1872 book on emotional expression, he called blushing the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. He wrote letters to missionaries, doctors, and travelers around the world, asking the same question over and over. Does blushing happen everywhere? Among every people he could find records for, the answer came back yes. Different cultures, different languages, different customs, same red cheeks at the same kinds of moments. And here's the detail that stopped Darwin in his tracks. As far as he could tell, no other animal does this. Animals freeze. They flee. They display submission with body posture, lowered eyes, tucked tails. But an automatic, visible reddening of the face in response to a social mistake. That appears to be ours alone. Darwin even noticed something else. Blind people, who have never seen anyone else blush, who have no way to learn it by imitation, still blush in exactly the same situations as everyone else. That observation mattered to him. It suggested the behavior wasn't something children pick up by watching adults. It was already wired in, waiting to be triggered by the right kind of social moment, regardless of whether you'd ever seen it happen to someone else. So what is it for? For a long time, the easy answer was that blushing is just a side effect. Embarrassment causes a stress response. The stress response includes blood vessels widening near the surface of the skin, and the face happens to be where that's most visible. Useless leftover plumbing, basically. A glitch nobody bothered to fix. But a glitch theory has a problem. Costly, highly visible signals tend to get selected against over time, not preserved for hundreds of thousands of years across every human population on Earth. If blushing did nothing useful, you'd expect it to fade, the way some vestigial traits do. Instead, it's still here, still automatic, still completely outside your control. That persistence is a clue. A psychologist named Dr. Keltner spent years studying what facial expressions actually do in social situations, not just what they look like. He found that displays of embarrassment, the blush, the lowered gaze, the half-smile, the awkward little head movement, aren't random. They follow a recognizable pattern. And when people see that pattern in someone else, something shifts. Watch what happens the next time someone visibly fumbles in front of a group, drops something, says the wrong name, trips over their own words, and then blushes. The room doesn't usually turn hostile. If anything, people soften. Some laugh, but it's often a warm laugh. Someone might reach out, say, "Don't worry about it," wave it off. The blush seems to do something to the people watching it, not just to the person wearing it. Keltner's research suggests that's not an accident. Displays of embarrassment function like a kind of apology your body sends out before your mouth catches up. They signal, "I know I just violated a social rule, and I care that I did." Groups tend to forgive people who show that signal faster than people who don't. In other words, the blush might be doing social repair work in real time, automatically, without you ever deciding to send the message. Think about how strange that is. Your body is essentially issuing a public confession on your behalf, in a channel you can't switch off, faster than you could ever consciously apologize. Why would that be worth the cost of looking foolish? Here's where another researcher's work fits in. A psychologist named Mark Leary developed an idea sometimes called the sociometer theory. The basic claim is that humans come with something like an internal gauge, constantly and unconsciously tracking how we're doing in the eyes of the people around us. Not our self-esteem in some abstract sense, but our real-time social standing. Are people accepting me right now? Did that thing I just said land badly? Am I about to be excluded? According to this view, that gauge runs constantly in the background, almost always below conscious awareness. Most of the time, you don't notice it at all, the same way you don't notice your own heartbeat. But every so often, the needle swings hard. A social rule gets broken, an attention spotlight suddenly lands on you, a mismatch appears between how you wanted to be seen and how you were actually seen. And when that needle swings hard enough, the blush fires. If Leary is right, blushing isn't really about the specific mistake at all. It's the visible output of a much older system, one that has been quietly monitoring your social position this entire time, suddenly spiking into the red zone. So why does it have to be visible? Couldn't this internal alarm just stay internal? This is where it gets genuinely strange. A researcher named Ray Crozier, who has spent much of his career studying blushing specifically, has pointed out that the visibility might be the entire point. A signal that only you can feel does nothing for the group. A signal that everyone can see does something very different. It lets the people around you know, instantly and without any words, that you are aware of the social slip. And crucially, it's a signal that's very hard to fake. Try to blush on command right now. You can't. You can act embarrassed, you can perform the gestures, but the actual reddening of your face is not something your conscious mind controls. That's exactly what makes it valuable as a signal. In a world full of people who might fake an apology to smooth things over and then go right on breaking the rules, a signal that can't be faked is worth something. It's proof of genuine social awareness, written directly onto your skin, in real time, for everyone to read. This is sometimes called an honest signal, and biologists find these in all sorts of places, not just in humans. A signal is honest when it's too costly or too automatic for an animal to fake convincingly. A peacock's tail, a deer's antlers, a loud distress call. These work as signals precisely because they're hard to produce dishonestly. Your blush belongs in that category. It costs you something, a moment of visible discomfort, and that cost is exactly what makes it believable. Picture two people in a small ancient group. One person breaks a shared rule, takes something they shouldn't have, says something out of line, and shows absolutely no visible reaction. The other person makes a similar mistake and visibly reddens, looks down, shrinks a little. Who does the group trust more going forward? Who gets a second chance? That's the trade Darwin couldn't quite explain in 1872, but it makes a strange kind of sense now. The cost of looking foolish for a few seconds buys something valuable. It buys continued membership in the group. The momentary embarrassment is the price of an honest signal that says, I'm still one of you, I still care what you think, please don't cast me out. Now bring this back to your own life. When was the last time you blushed? Maybe it was in a meeting, when you mispronounced someone's name in front of the whole call. Maybe it was at a dinner table, when a joke landed wrong and the table went quiet. Maybe it was something tiny, waving at someone who wasn't waving at you, and then having to slowly lower your hand while several people watched. In every one of those moments, something ancient fired automatically. A system that has been running in human bodies for as long as humans have lived in groups, monitoring your social standing, and the moment it detected a mismatch, it lit up your face like a warning light, broadcasting to everyone nearby, I know. I see it too. I'm still trying. And here's the part that might land differently now. Today, a huge amount of our social life happens through screens. Video calls, where you can see yourself blush in a little box in the corner. Group chats, where there's no face at all, no blush possible, just text sitting there after you've sent something cringe-worthy. Online spaces, where a mistake can be seen by hundreds of strangers who will never see your face redden, never see the apology your body would have sent automatically. Some researchers studying social behavior online have noted that this might partly explain why digital conflict can spiral so fast. The ancient repair signal, the one that used to do quiet work in the background of every group of humans who ever lived, simply doesn't reach the audience anymore. The mistake travels. The blush doesn't. It's worth pausing on that gap. For nearly all of human history, a social mistake and its repair signal travel together, in the same room, at the same moment, visible to the same people. Now the mistake can travel alone, screenshotted, shared, seen by people who will never witness the part of you that would have softened it. The signal still fires. You still feel the heat in your face. It just has nowhere to go. So the next time your face goes hot in front of other people, and you wish, more than almost anything, that you could just disappear, consider what's actually happening. You're not malfunctioning. You're not weak. Your body is doing something that took hundreds of thousands of years to build, something so reliable that it survives every culture ever studied, something that no other animal on Earth seems to do. It's sending a message, on your behalf, faster than you could ever say the words yourself. I see what just happened. I'm still here. I still care what you think of me. That's not embarrassment failing you. That's an ancient piece of social technology, working exactly as intended, written in red, right across your face. A signal older than language itself, doing its quiet, automatic work, one warm-faced moment at a time.